Hey, speak for yourself, listeners. Before we start the show, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. So download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com. Now, let's start the show.
You're welcome to Speak for Yourself. I'm Marcel Swally. That's Emmanuel Acho. Looking great, brother.
My dog. You know, you had a whole week of laughs. You had a whole week of jabs, clowning the outfit. I had to remind you, Marcellus, even in a turtleneck and a cream jacket, your boy can put you to sleep in swag wars.
Okay, Martin or Will Smith in Miami Vice? Which one are you? All right, let's get it started, big dog, with the Patriots. You're looking good, though. New England didn't look good, and they were held to only 3 points last night by the Rams, and a lot of eyes are on Cam Newton as a reason why. Cam was sacked 4 times and threw a pick 6. Then he was benched in the fourth quarter. The loss drops the Patriots to 6-7. After the game, Cam said the team has to get better and, quote, it starts with me personally. So, Acho Vice, do you blame Cam Newton for the Patriots' loss to the Rams?
First off, are you talking about bad boys, bruh? Will Smith wasn't in Miami Vice.
Oh,
okay. I already know you off your game because you can't get your movies right. But before I get started, producers, if we may, can we just take a listen to Marcellus's terrible take?
I knew this was coming.
Over the last, 6 months, 6 weeks. Please, can we just listen to him?
This ain't work.
Here's a story about Cam Newton, who was picked up by the Patriots June 28th. It was late, no offseason. Cam Newton's the only sign of life. He's the only thing bubbling in this situation to make us think they have an ounce of hope. This is Cam Newton. Don't look like that. You forgot who Cam Newton is? You want a resume check? Last time did I check? Yes, Cam Newton is a franchise quarterback for the New England Patriots.
Hey, chill, dog.
Crockett, Tubbs,
Marcellus, you need a whole week worth of perfect takes to atone for the idiocracy, to atone for the errors, to atone for the blasphemy, to atone for the stupidity of your takes around Cam Newton. Sir, you would have to get 100 on your takes for the next week just to get a passing class on takes. Now, if I may answer the question.
Oh, you want to work? Okay.
Unfortunately, Cam Newton is at fault for the Patriots' loss. I say unfortunately because at the beginning of the season I told y'all I love Cam Newton. No vendettas. Cam Newton is a person. Cam Newton his swag. Cam Newton his persona. I'm all for that. I model my style after Cam Newton. However, Cam Newton, a football player, come on, y'all. Marcellus, Cam Newton threw 200 passing yards yesterday. Problem, 80 of them were to the other team. Marcellus Wiley, what is the safest offensive pass in football? A screen. A screen is the safest pass a quarterback can throw in football. And Cam Newton threw not only an interception on a screen, a pick 6 on a screen. Is it fully Cam Newton's fault? No, I'm not going to say it's fully Cam Newton's fault.
Oh, there we go.
But is Cam Newton going to get the brunt of the blame? Absolutely, he's going to get the brunt of the blame because we have looked past his errors in previous games. It's no longer time to look past those errors. Marcellus Wiley, here's how I'm going to end my first scorching hot lap. The Patriots had 5 plays from the 9-yard line to score a touchdown. Second quarter, 14 minutes left. You're at the 9, you got 5 plays. You call 5 consecutive running plays. Why? Because you don't trust your quarterback, Cam Newton. That is why. So yes, unfortunately, Cam Newton is to blame, sir. Marcellus, if you have a take, please, go ahead.
Okay, my take won't be as long as that take. My take won't make me eat crow like you anticipate. I anticipated you coming out here with all the shots. I knew you were going to come with body blows. I knew you were going to come with them haymakers. I was going to bring my body armor out, but then I reminded myself, Acho's punches don't hurt. You could take them, big dog. You're bigger than him, so I'm going to absorb all of those punches. I respect that out of you, Acho. Was Cam Newton to blame for the loss yesterday? Yes. But he wasn't the primary reason why they lost yesterday. Is Cam Newton Is Cam Newton the worst part of this New England Patriots team? Absolutely not. Don't forget, he's the reason why we reset our expectations in the first place about this team this year and potentially even being in the playoffs because of Cam Newton's performance. Let's talk about the real issues here, and I'm going to list them all. One, no tight end production at all this entire year. Let's just be real about it. No high-end wide receiver play. Let's talk about the run defense, but let's start with a visual, and let's talk about the offensive line. I want to show you a clip of Cam Newton under duress yesterday, and you tell me, Acho, after this clip, what would you do in this circumstance?
When Michael Brocker's right in the middle, he just comes up and they just don't block him at all.
What did happen? I turned around and he ain't got my
the left tackle. He just does not cut him off at all. I'm not sure who he's blocking.
Did you hear that, Acho? Did you hear that, Acho? I got one thing. See, you're going to cut me off just like he should have been cut off on that play. I have one thing to say. Acho, the world wouldn't know my level of intelligence if you were to continue to always cut me off, not give me the time to breathe, not allow me to get my take out fully, like Cam Newton in that one play, but it happened many times, where he's not allowed to show his true ability because he's not given the proper amount of time. Now, let me be the better person in this situation and allow you your time.
Marcellus, I'm trying to protect you like Bill Belichick did when he put Cam Newton on the bench. I'm trying to protect the world from your takes because your takes have been so bad. I'm trying to put your takes on the bench, Marcellus, and protect you from yourself. Marcellus, I'm trying to protect your terrible takes from the terribleness which lies intrinsically within the take. Marcellus, peep this. Okay. You knew as well as I did, and Cam Newton did, hey, if I just don't turn the ball over, we Gucci. That's how we can win these games. Think about it. Last night, the Rams, they marched down the field, they score 7-0. They go down the field again. Patriots hold only 3 points, 10-0. You're thinking, this might not be good. But then what do the Patriots do? The Patriots do what they always do. They get an interception. They return it to the 32-yard line. Next thing you know, running play. They're at the 20-yard line. Cam Newton, it's the time to execute the Patriot way. We're going to get points off of our defensive turnovers. But we're not. Cam Newton is not only going to turn it over, he's going to turn it over for 6. Marcellus Wiley, the week before against the Chargers, Patriots won 45-0. But the special teams, if Cam Newton wouldn't even have played in that game, Patriots still would have won. Special teams scored twice. Week before, Cam Newton tried to lose the game again, Arizona Cardinals. Cam Newton had 84 passing yards. Cam Newton had 2 interceptions. But what happened? The Patriots defense did their thing, and the Patriots scored 20 points against the Cardinals. 17 were off defensive turnovers or big special teams plays. Marcellus, not only has Cam Newton cost them yesterday's game, you could look back and say Cam Newton has cost them 4 to 5 games on the season. 49ers, Denver Broncos, Buffalo Bills. I mean, I can keep going if I must. But Marcellus, I can't protect you this whole show, so you're going to have to give a good take at some point in time. So just try to start now, if you will.
I'm going to hope that I can. I'm trying, big dog. And here it comes, big dog. Because you act like I'm the only one with bad takes up here. And I don't even think this is a bad take. It may be just a little off in terms of the calendar right now. Bad timing, but not a bad take. Your Giants take? Your New York football Giants take?
Oh, God.
Your Carson Wentz take? I have more, but I digress. Let's talk about my real take right here. You got Cam Newton on your team, in your offense. This is a muscle car. You tune up muscle cars. You don't tune them down. And what happened with Cam Newton this year is they put him into a situation and then they try to tune him down. And I understand why they did this. Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick, the Patriot way. Think about it. Cam Newton was only allowed to cook truly this year 3 times. 3 times Cam Newton had 35 or more pass attempts this year. What was their record in those 3 games? 1-2. And the one victory was a close win over the Jets. So damn near 0-3 when Cam was allowed to cook, despite Cam actually cooking. 6 touchdowns, only 1 interception, but they lost more of those games than they won. So Belichick sits there and says, tune down the muscle car. Not tune them up, tune down the muscle car. I have some nuggets for you. You thought I wasn't going to come prepared because I thought this was going to be a tough battle? Let me give you who Cam Newton is this year with the Patriots in a nutshell. Same completion percentage as the MVP candidate Ben Roethlisberger. Higher completion percentage than good winning quarterbacks like Tom Brady, Ryan Tannehill, and the future of the NFL, everyone keeps telling me, and Justin Herbert, and also Joe Burrow. But let's also talk about your new BFF in Baker Mayfield. I wonder who has a higher completion percentage. I wonder who's more accurate with the football when allowed opportunities. Baker Mayfield or Cam Newton? You know the damn answer is Cam Newton. I wouldn't ask the question. So you talk about a guy who has a quarterback rating that is 6 points higher than your other best friend in Carson Wentz. And all I hear from you is it's not Carson Wentz's fault. But then when it comes to Cam Newton, all I hear is Cam Newton's the problem. Make it make sense, Hacho.
Sir, let me tell you a story that could not be more applicable. Marcellus Wiley, once upon a time, I was seeing this young lady, and this young lady said, "Hey, Emmanuel, I'd like to make you a meal." I said, "No, let's just go out to dinner, my treat." She said, No, I want to cook. I said, "All right, I trust you." It was early on. I said, "I trust you, do your thing." All of a sudden, Marcellus Wiley, I looked at the salmon. The salmon looked good. I tasted it. It tasted great. I looked at the broccoli. The broccoli looked good. I tasted it. It tasted great. Marcellus, I looked at the carrots. The carrots looked good. But I tasted the carrots, and true story, they tasted like Aunt Jemima syrup. I thought, I'm tripping. Maybe I had some pancakes for breakfast. Maybe there's some leftovers. I thought I was tripping. True story. I taste another carrot. I taste syrup. I look at her and I say, "Why do these carrots taste like syrup?" She said, "I ran out of sugar, so I started using some syrup on the carrots when I cooked them."
Damn, girl.
She was as good a cook, Marcellus Wiley, as Cam Newton is a cook. The Patriots do not let Cam Newton cook because they do not want carrots that taste like syrup. When Cam Newton cooks, sir, not only does he burn down the kitchen this year, the whole living room, the whole house, the whole floor gets burnt down. What do I mean? 5 passing touchdowns and now what? 10 interceptions? We haven't seen a stat line like that in 40 years. 40 years, Marcellus. The only quarterback whose stat line appears that atrocious was Trent Dilfer in his 2nd year as a quarterback. This is Cam Newton in what, his 10th year as a quarterback? Marcellus Wiley, please. Marcellus Vernon Wiley, please do not ever say that Cam Newton has suffered because he has not been allowed to cook.
Oh, I will go there. I know that girl's in your past and not in your phone anymore, because goodness, that's hilarious. Might have had some racial...
Bro, true story, bro.
Hey.
Terrible.
It sounded like it had some racial undertones. You ain't supposed to be using Aunt Jemima no more, girl. What you talking about? Oh, I'm sorry. I digress. All right, here we go. I'm coming back at you, big dog. I thought you were going to knock me out, but I'm still breathing. I'm still alive. I'm still riding with Cam Newton in this situation. Let me tell you why I ride with Cam Newton. You give me takes where you talk about Cam Newton in totality this entire year not being able to cook, not being allowed to cook because they don't trust him. You know what I think that's happening really to Cam Newton? That they're trying to hide Cam Newton in plain sight. I have a conspiracy theory, and I only say conspiracy theory because I don't have it sourced. But I'm looking at this situation and saying, why would they have Cam Newton in a system where when he actually was prolific as a passer, but they didn't get optimal results, they would take it to this extreme. Remember, Cam Newton, only 3 games where he was allowed to throw the ball 35 times or more. Carson Wentz, his sorry butt, was allowed 9 games this year of 35 or more pass attempts. So they're not even the same if you're starting to say Cam and Carson, ooh, I think they're the same at the bottom. No. Cam wasn't even given those same amount of chances and still came out better than Carson Wentz in terms of statistics. Let's talk about Cam Newton and his 2 game-winning drives this year. His 1 fourth-quarter comeback, beat good teams like Miami, the Raiders, the Ravens, the Cardinals, close losses to teams like the Seahawks and Buffalo. But we're going to throw him away according to you, Acho. We're not going to do that, Acho. You know why? because we're going to listen to this conspiracy theory, and it goes like this. Cam Newton, I don't want to franchise you next year. That's going to be pretty expensive. You know what I want to do? Keep you around on a team-friendly, let's say, a continuity deal. Promise you the future with this franchise, but also not price you out to a point where you're going to go elsewhere. And it's interesting why I think that's occurring, because the best way for the Patriots to go out there and win, because they don't have receivers, they don't have tight ends, is the fact that you got to let Cam Newton be a full arsenal of weapons in himself. And they're not allowing that for some strange reason. I get it. When you lose to Seattle, when you lose to Houston, and you say, we let him cook and we didn't get the optimal result, which is a W, we're going to pull it back. But Acho, be real about this. I'm looking at a situation where it seems like he's being more undermined than fully supported. You see where I'm coming from with that?
Oh, my God.
Say yeah.
Bro,
Say yeah.
No, I don't. And I wanted you to just save yourself and go to break because you were already drowning amongst your own words. But now that you asked me a question that's not rhetorical, I am forced to answer. Marcellus, Cam Newton is being saved by the Patriots because if they asked him to do more, it would probably look even worse.
Wow.
Thankfully and graciously, they are not asking him to do more. I'm proud of you, however, because usually when you are dying in an argument, you resort to three things. You deflect, which you did do, but you usually make fun of my physical appearance and my singleness. You only deflected. You were 1 for 3. I'm proud of you. At least you have grown. Hopefully, I trust that Cam Newton, his play will do the same.
Wow, I guess you don't know who I really am. You said Marcellus Wiley. Oh, you said Marcellus Vernon Wiley. Well, Emmanuel Idiot Acho, I'm calling you out right now for who you are because I understand this. This is my last layer. I am struggling to make a great argument for Cam Newton, but you know what? I think I have one right here. Cam Newton, you tell me he can't cook. 30 or 44, 397. Is that cooking? 26 or 40. 365. Is that cooking? 27 to 35, 274. The only 3 games I keep talking about where they allowed him to cook. Is that cooking? 6 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Is that cooking? I understand there's a difference between outcome and performance, but Cam certainly should be saved in this situation, allowed to thrive going forward. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're not done talking Cam Newton. We'll tell you if his days as a franchise quarterback are over. But first, Jalen Hurts is making his debut as an NFL starter Sunday. We'll tell you if he'll provide a spark for the Eagles. Next, speak for yourself. I'm down on the cards.
What's up, Speak For Yourself listeners? It's your boy Shay Sharp, co-host of FS1's Undisputed. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before 2 something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now, back to Speak For Yourself.
Welcome back to Speak For Yourself. Yeah, I'm still alive. Jalen Hurts is set to make his first NFL start on Sunday against the Saints on Fox. Doug Peterson said he made the move from Carson Wentz to Hurts because, quote, we need a spark. The rookie quarterback will be facing a Saints team that is second in total defense and has won 9 straight games. So, Acho, do you expect Jalen Hurts to provide a spark against the Saints?
I do, big dog. I said this all along. I expect Jalen Hurts to go in there, provide a spark. In the NFL, in college, and in most forms of football, first 12 to 15 plays offensively are scripted. That means they already know the plan. They know what they want to run. They know how they want to execute it. Jalen Hurts, you really don't have film on him. So this Saints defense is going to be grasping for straws. Not sure how they're going to be able to play Jalen Hurts. Are the Eagles going to come out and do different things? Are the Eagles going to come out and completely show you totally different looks? Jalen Hurts will, in fact, provide a spark, but I have said this all along. I don't need a spark. I need to be set ablaze. I need the Eagles' offense to be on fire. This is what we do not realize when we are so infatuated with new things and we are infatuated with limited excitement. We don't realize that we're changing some of our approach, which enhances the excitement as well. What do I mean? Head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, Doug Peterson, he said, hey, we're going to come out and really try to establish the run this week. Why didn't you do that with Carson Wentz? Miles Sanders is 3rd in the NFL in yards per carry, but he's 20th in the NFL in rushing attempts. So now, Doug Peterson, you're going to do what would have benefited Carson Wentz because you now have Jalen Hurts. Again, Marcellus, I brought up this relationship example with Carson Wentz being replaced by Jalen Hurts because it is legitimate. When you go on a date with somebody for the first time, surely the conversation will be special. You don't know their favorite color. You don't know what they do for a living. You don't know what their parents do. You can talk about any and everything. So yes, when the Eagles look at Jalen Hurts for the first time, the first series, the first 2 series, I assume it will be special. The Eagles haven't seen and the Saints haven't seen anything like Jalen Hurts thus far. However, I'm looking for a spark to set ablaze. I'm not looking for a spark just for spark's sake.
Oh, wow. I think Jalen Hurts is going to do well in this situation, provide a spark that will lead to a blaze. Interesting you keep saying that, but at the same time, before you run, you got to learn to walk. And I think this is a situation where I'm going to be okay with the fundamental level of what Jalen Hurts will present to this team. Just in their imagination, just in their expectations, everything has been reset. Think about it. They're on a 4-game losing streak where they haven't scored more than 17 points a game. Guess what? Jalen Hurts can walk out there, play a part of this complementary football and establish the running game, use his mobility as an asset, throw the football. He's been out there in terms of yards per attempt, 9.1 yards an attempt on Sunday. That's something Carson Wentz hasn't done in 2 years. So Jalen Hurts, just by his presence, is going to be a spark that sets the blaze with everyone else on the team because they will become contagious. I've been through quarterback controversies before with Doug Flutie and Rob Johnson. Now think about that. We were an 0-3 team. All of a sudden, we just switched the quarterback. We couldn't lose a game, it felt like. We ended up 10-6 and make the playoffs. So I'm looking at this situation as a mirror image, as a parallel to it. But I'm looking at the Eagles as a whole, as they just need this infusion of enthusiasm. Sometimes that's all it takes, Acho. Mind over matter. I understand we're all big, we're all fast, we're all strong, we all are in tune with our scheme and trying to do our best. But sometimes you just need that wake-up call or that change that can spark everyone else to play better than they've been playing to this point. We got to bring in somebody who knows a thing or two about this. Fox NFL analyst Bucky Brooks. Bucky, you expect Jalen Hurts to provide a spark against the Saints?
Oh, absolutely. He's going to set the house on fire. And he's going to set it on fire because I think this is the perfect opportunity for the Eagles to reset. Now, Acho can laugh because we sat there and watched that Hart garbage for about 12 weeks, and finally we can dispose of it. But now we got a real quarterback coming to the game that will allow Doug Peterson to expand his mind and his playbook. Because I want you to go all the way back to the draft. And shortly after Jalen Hurts was drafted, Howie Roseman talked about, we want to be a quarterback factory. We want to produce quarterbacks because, in a way, he felt like they had the Midas touch because they had taken Carson Wentz and he went from number 2 overall pick to playing at a level that was considered to be MVP level. Then you had Nick Foles, who went from a journeyman backup to being the Super Bowl MVP. So they thought that they had the secret sauce to be able to get any quarterback up and going. So when I look at Jalen Hurts, I think it's important to remember, Doug Peterson said, we want to be able to do some of these Taysom Hill-like things. Well, I'm glad he brought that up because when I look at Taysom Hill, when Taysom Hill was coming out of BYU, he wasn't known for his passing prowess. He was known for his running ability. He ran for 2,800 yards at BYU. You know how many yards Jalen Hurts ran for in 3 years? Oh, he ran for 3,200. He's a more accomplished runner than Taysom Hill. And so when you look at the way the New Orleans Saints play, they're playing complementary football. They're rushing for over 200 yards per. This will encourage Doug Peterson to run the ball because I heard you guys talk about Miles Sanders averaging 5 yards per attempt. Well, now when you have 2 runners in the backfield, it changes the way the defense has to play. I think you will see them lean into the run, and everybody will play better because they're now playing a more conservative style of football that is more conducive to winning.
So I don't necessarily disagree with Bucky Brooks, but that's my problem.
You shouldn't say
my problem
else.
isn't that I agree.
You shouldn't say anything else.
No. Here's my problem. Because what did you say? Bucky... Because Bucky said this, the Eagles are going to change their style of play and play a more conservative style of football. If you would have done that with Carson Wentz, then I think results would have been different as well. Now, I'm not going to get into the ifs and buts, where candies, and I'm not going to get into all of that. But what I'm going to get into is this, Bucky Brooks. If you go out there, and you have a spark, right? You don't need a spark unless you're going to go 4-0. And even if you do go 4-0 as the Philadelphia Eagles, you still got to hope the Giants and Washington go 2-2 their last 4 games just to make the playoffs. If you have this spark, even if the spark leads you to 3-1, you better hope the Giants lose 3 more games to make the playoffs. So you all are wishing for a spark. Y'all are hoping for a spark. What I'm trying to tell you is when Nick Foles came in 2018 to replace Carson Wentz, that wasn't a spark. Nick Foles lit that offense on fire. He lit that team on fire. Eagles were 5-6. Foles went 4-1 down the stretch. Eagles went 9-7, made the playoffs. That wasn't a spark. My problem with all of this Jalen Hurts conversation, a spark. The Eagles don't need a spark. They need a miracle. Carson Wentz has shown he can provide a miracle. Last year, 5-7, 4-0 down the stretch, 9-7, playoffs. But a spark in and of itself, fellas, that is not enough.
Man, you over there trying to marry that word spark like that's his limit. That's just what the expectation is because they don't want to put too much pressure on a youngster in his first full-time start. Stop trying to get us all lost in that conjecture right there. A spark can burn down an entire forest. Just a little spark. Acres and acres of trees gone. How did it start? It was a spark. That's how this can happen, too, when you talk about Philadelphia. And let's talk about the spark that's necessary. You keep talking about this forest fire and this blaze. Carson Wentz in his 4-game losing streak, 55% completion percentage. Can Jalen Hurts play better than that? How about 4-3 touchdown to interceptions? Can Jalen Hurts do that? What about being sacked 18 times? Can Jalen Hurts cut that down some? What about passer rating at 72? Pedestrian. Can Jalen Hurts do more than that? Absolutely. And it's set up perfectly for him. Going against the Saints defense, number 2 defense in the NFL. What could be more rewarding if you go out there and see a team that's coming with the number 2 defense and a 9-game winning streak and all the conversation of they can't be beat with their starter or their backup. And then Jalen Hurts goes out there and says, well, let me get a try at it. Let me just try to provide a spark and let everyone else around me ignite and start this inferno. That's how I'm looking at this situation. And Doug Peterson knows this because Doug Peterson is throwing a Hail Mary as well. He realizes that they're married financially to Carson Wentz, but he's come to the realization that, hey, I may lose the locker room. You know what? I may lose a guy or two in terms of my choice of going with Jalen Hurts over Carson Wentz. But I'm not going to lose my job without a fight. And the fight that Doug Peterson has in him is putting Jalen Hurts out there to fight for him and the rest of the team.
You know, it's funny because I don't know if Acho is a guy that gets in the kitchen. I heard him talk about that bad meal that he had with the Aunt Jemima syrup on the carrots or whatever.
That's
but
terrible.
I fancy myself as a grill master there, Acho. And so when you talk about a spark, sometimes you got to light the grill with a spark. I don't know what kind of grill you have, if you can cook or not, but you got to light it up. And so you light it up so you can get the meat going. Right now, the Philadelphia Eagles haven't been able to cook in so long because the grill master that they had in Carson Wentz, he keeps dropping the meat on the ground. He's turning the ball over. He has sacks for days. They just don't make it happen. And so the good thing, though, is he has done this. He has done this before. Doug Peterson has had to go to the bullpen numerous times to rescue what Carson Wentz has done. He's either been hurt, he's been unavailable, so he had to turn to Nick Foles. And when he turned to Nick Foles, he found a way to get him right because he dug in the crates, he found back pages of the playbook and got it done. So now here he is again, having to dig in the back pages of the playbook to try and save their offense because the starting quarterback can't get it done. So yes, we will get a chance to see Jalen Hurts in all his majesty fix this offense that has been broken because the quarterback has been hard.
The issue is simple. Bucky, I don't care if you go get the best candle and matches and the best lighter and lighter fluid and charcoal. I don't care if you get all that. If the meat is expired. See, what I've realized is you got some receivers like Alshon Jeffrey who showed up this year, and it appears that they're expired. Bucky Brooks, I've realized that some of the receivers, some of the produce Deshaun Jackson has been tampered with. So it does not matter what you light. It doesn't matter how many times you light it and you hope that it works and you throw the match in there. If the produce has been tampered with and if it's been expired, it still is not quality nor
I didn't hear any of these things for Cam. I didn't hear any of these same arguments for Cam. Maybe I missed that in segment 1. My bad.
No. Because here's why. Bucky Brooks. Because what Tom Brady did with these same people, they were 12-4. Well, maybe that's why. Maybe because with the same running back stable, they were 12-4. Maybe because with a similar receiver stable, they were 12-4. Maybe that is why, Bucky Brooks. Maybe, just maybe.
Interesting. I don't know where Acho grew up, but if you came in my house, hey, mama, this milk is old. Boy, you better shut up. That milk's still good. You better drink it. That's how we roll. It ain't nothing old. If it passed the smell test, it's still good. Forget that date on the carton. All right, it's time to make our picks for Sunday's Fox Super 6 contest. Download the free Fox Super 6 app now and play along with us. Sticking with the Eagles, they're at home against the Saints in one of the matchups this week. So, Acho, let's hear this. Who do you like and by how many?
Jalen Hurts will provide a spark, but it won't be good enough. The Saints 28, the Eagles 24, and a close one.
What you got, Buck?
Oh, I mean, look, I like this. Fly, Eagles, fly. I'm going with the Eagles by 3. Jalen Hurts gets it done. 24-21.
Okay, we're going to remember that on Monday. I'm not that caught up in my take to lie to America. Saints 27, Eagles 12. That's a spark. That's all you get. Fox Super 6 has given away over $3 million already. All you have to do is correctly predict the outcome of 6 NFL games. Download the free Super 6 app and make your picks before kickoff Sunday for your shot to win. And for top stories, scores, and more, go to the Fox Sports app. Coming up, the Cowboys say they're not nervous to sign Dak to a big deal. We'll tell you if we're buying that. Next, speak for yourself. Start Saturday strong with a Rocky Mountain rivalry on Fox as number 21 Colorado looks to secure a spot in the Pac-12 championship when they host Utah. All starts with Big Noon kickoff at 10 a.m. Eastern, followed by Big Noon Saturday, only on Fox. I killed that. Welcome back. Carson Wentz signed a massive 4-year deal last year with the Eagles, but now he's headed to the bench. Poor Acho. Over in Dallas, Dak Prescott was playing under the franchise tag, but had a season-ending injury back in October. Despite what's going on in Philly, Cowboys executive Stephen Jones said the Eagles situation doesn't affect their thoughts on Dak. He said, quote, "We're not nervous to sign Dak. I think his makeup is all the right things. He's an amazing man off the field. He's a great leader in our locker room, a great player, and that's why we've wanted to sign him long term." Bucky is back with us, but Acho, are you buying the Cowboys aren't nervous about signing Dak to a big deal?
Fellas, you ever remember how you're supposed to give somebody criticism, right? You're supposed to start with something nice, then in the middle, you speak the truth, tell them what you really want to tell them, and then you end with something nice as well. That's how you're supposed to deliver a rough message. That's the rule of thumb. See, Stephen Jones gave us the inverse. He started with the lie, then he gave us the truth, then he ended with the lie. We're not nervous to sign Dak. Stop lying, Stephen Jones, Marcellus, and Bucky. The Cowboys are definitely nervous to sign Dak Prescott. I'll give you 3 reasons why. The first reason, he's coming off of an injury. Regardless of how young he is, regardless of how non-injury prone he is, regardless of how strong and tough he is, you're coming off an injury. That in and of itself is rooms for being nervous. The second reason, within your own division, you've seen a quarterback same age as Dak Prescott, show just as much, if not more promise than Dak Prescott on the cusp of winning an MVP 2-3 years ago, that is Carson Wentz, and now fall off a cliff and become benched. That's the second reason. The third reason is you know firsthand, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, all the players that y'all pay, they forget how to play. You saw it with DeMarcus Lawrence. You saw it with Zeke. I'll remind y'all, world, if we got the full screens, as soon as the Cowboys players get paid, they instantly stop performing. DeMarcus Lawrence, he had given you 30, 15, 25 odd sacks in his first couple performances in his first 2 years. Then he gets paid. All of a sudden, after getting paid, you see 5 sacks, then you see 4.5 this year. Then you got Zeke. I really don't even got to show y'all, because if y'all got eyes, y'all been watching it. But Zeke leads the NFL in rushing. And then he falls off and falls off and falls off as soon as he gets paid. So that's the third reason they're nervous. They've seen Carson Wentz be a baller, fall off. They don't want to pay another player and have them fall off. And he's coming off an injury. Fellas, all them reasons, good reasons to be nervous.
Woo! You talking about lies. You just told a big lie, and I know why. A body language expert would tell me that you were lying the entire time. Because as soon as I asked you the question, you know the first thing you did? You went like this, start moving like here. I was like, what's wrong with Acho? And then the lies started to come out of your mouth. You're crazy, Acho. Yes, of course, Dak Prescott deserves the big deal. And they're not nervous about giving it to him. They've already offered him a $35 million deal. The only issue is they want to be more committed to him than he wants to commit to them. And Acho's going to try and misconstrue that as, oh, they're nervous. No, they're only nervous because Dak's trying to get a 4-year deal and get out of there and reset his value, where they're like, no, we want to lock you into 5 years because we know how much we love you. If you can't take them on their words and you can't take them on their actions, then what can you take them on? Acho, you keep bringing up points that makes no sense because Stephen Jones went out there and already told you, our issues are in our negotiations with Dak, wanting to be more committed in terms of the length. That's simple as that. It's not about the length of the contract to Dak as much as it is about the actual amount and length to Dak. Those two things cannot be separated. Please stop trying to do that. That's a misconstruing of this situation. So I look at Dak, who is oh my God, 10th most passing yards in NFL history through his first 69 games, and he's 7th in career passing rating. And you're trying to tell me that this is not a guy that's justified the amount of money that they've already offered him? That is more than any of us even anticipated, and the price tag continues to go up. They're not nervous about signing Dak.
There's nothing to be nervous about. I think, if anything, they're more confident now that they've seen their team completely implode now that he has been out of the lineup. This year, Dak Prescott leads the league in 400-yard games, and he only played 5 games. He still has the most 400-yard games in the league, and he hasn't played in almost 2 months. And then when I look at this team, by every metric, he has proven to the Cowboys that he is the right guy for the job. When they wanted him to play like a game manager, those first 3 years, he logged on and got 32 wins. When they've asked him to do more, hey, what about your individual statistics? Last year, he went for 4,900 yards. This year, he was on pace for more than 6,000 passing yards. I think it's really clear and apparent. Dak Prescott is the right guy. He's the right guy for them. They miss him. We saw this team that was hanging by a thread early in the year completely fall apart. I think now more than ever, they realize that number 4 is the right guy to be the face of the franchise going forward.
Can we get a 3-box, please? I'd love to talk to these lovely elder statesmen in congruence. Bucky, remind me, sir, where did you go to college, please? Did you go to college?
University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill.
Okay, UNC. Okay, so then I'll defer again to Marcellus as far as educational questions.
Oh, come on. Texas doesn't even stack up.
Marcellus, when Dak Prescott started and finished games, the Cowboys were 1-3. So if they were 1-3 over the first 4 games with Dak Prescott as a starter, if you were to take that out for 16 games, what would the Cowboys' record have been?
Come on, Marcellus.
I ain't helping him. 4 wins.
I know the answer. I know the answer.
Yeah,
they would be 4-12.
Yeah.
If Dak Prescott were to stay healthy, they were on pace to go 4-12.
On pace.
The Cowboys, what are they now? 3-9. Okay. So it looks like they're on pace to go 4-12. That's weird. It's so weird. So if Dak Prescott was going to stay healthy, they were on pace to go 4-12. And without Dak Prescott, they're still going to go 4-2. That's crazy to me. Let me get to my point, fellas. The other reason the Cowboys are nervous is because, Bucky Brooks, you don't just do something to do something. Let me tell you, Marcellus, the only reason I wish I grew up in your generation at times was because things were a little more and people were a little more trustworthy, right? In this day and age, sometimes people want to get married just to say they get married. They want to get married because they just want to check the box. You know, I got my job, I bought my house. I guess now it's time to check that marriage box to say I did it. Well, in the NFL, You don't buy or pay a franchise quarterback franchise long-term money just to say you did it. Jerry Jones doesn't just want to say, well, we got a franchise quarterback too. We're keeping up with you, Patrick Mahomes. No, you pay a franchise quarterback and you sign a franchise quarterback without any doubt in your mind with the goal of winning a championship, a Super Bowl, maybe an NFC championship at the minimum. That is why you do it, not just to say you did it. So if you're the Cowboys and you realize, man, even with Dak Prescott, as great as he is, we were going to go 4-12. Without him, we're about to go 4-12. Even with Dak Prescott, as great as he was last year, no injury, we went 8-8, missed the playoffs. Without him, we're still not about to make the playoffs. Okay, but it was Jason Garrett's fault. Well, no, because the team Jason Garrett went to, they're about to make a playoffs with their backup quarterback. So even with Dak Prescott, as good as he is, we're now going to pay him long-term money just to do what? Now, it's no slight on Dak Prescott. We just have to be honest with the fact that you have to be nervous to sign Dak Prescott. That's it.
Get him, Buck.
We have to be nervous to sign Dak Prescott. I find that funny, right? Because I didn't hear you express worry or concern about Deshaun Watson getting paid, but here we are. Deshaun Watson is leading a poor football team, but he's playing at a high level, much like Dak Prescott was playing at a high level. Deshaun Watson led his team to a championship game, nor a Super Bowl, but he got his money, which is up there, not quite at Pat Mahomes' level, but close. And when I look at the numbers that Deshaun Watson had put up, his numbers are comparable to what Dak Prescott has put up. And I would even argue that Dak Prescott has been more impressive from a production standpoint. So I don't really know, because every time we play this football scrimmage, you tend to move the goalpost. And I can't determine, is it
God,
wins? Is it numbers? I just want to know, what am I evaluating the quarterback off of? Because when I look at my quarterback having to play with historically one of the worst defenses that we have ever seen trot out there, I just don't know how he can play both sides. Do you want to play both ways?
Bucky.
I just don't know what you want Dak Prescott to be able to do.
No, let me tell you, Marcellus and Bucky, because this is for both of y'all. Y'all always accuse me of moving the goalpost. That's not the case. I just move further back, and I still knock it right down the uprights. It's not the goalpost that I'm moving. I'm just moving myself further back, making my takes even more difficult, and they still right between both of them joints, and the rest looking like this. It's not the goalpost, Bucky Brooks. Goalpost is staying right there. Your boy just got a leg.
Man, that's a damn shame that Acho would move the goalposts, and he ain't even that strong, so them goalposts weren't put in properly. Acho, you have moved the goalposts a lot of times. Let's just be real about it. You talk about Jerry Jones should have some anxiety because he's overpaid other guys. So, Acho, do you have anxiety of buying a new home because your friends overpaid for theirs? Like you're trying to make a comparison that makes no sense in this situation. You look at those situations, you learn from them, and you do better. And guess what doing better is? Looking at Dak and his production and giving him what he deserves. You move the goalposts and start talking about health. Oh, he's hurt now, and durability. I don't know what he's going to be when he returns. What about Carson Wentz? Carson Wentz missed 13 of his 70 games, but still got a monster deal before this season started. Dak missed 0 games before this season started, but you still wanted to move the goalposts from health and overpaying to now, let's talk about production. And Bucky caught you there because he brought up Deshaun Watson. And when you bring up Watson, it's interesting that Dak Prescott, since 2019, because I took out the early part of Dak's career, because I know you, Acho, you always say, look at his rookie year, and he won 13 games, and throw them numbers out. Okay, let's throw them out. Deshaun Watson versus Dak Prescott since 2019. Dak Prescott, more passing yards. Dak Prescott averaged more total yards per game, more passing touchdowns per game, and equal in passing yards per attempt. I don't know where else you can move the goalposts, but you need to move them by a bank, because Dak Prescott going to show up to get his money. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones going to all be there to have a party with you, Acho. Coming up, Baker Mayfield's Browns are on a 4-game winning streak. We'll tell you if he's earned a long-term deal in Cleveland. Let's speak for yourself. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Baker Mayfield is coming off a career half, and has helped lead the Browns to 4 straight wins. Browns GM Andrew Berry praised his quarterback this week, saying he, quote, certainly deserves a lot of credit for the work that he's put in. But earlier this year, Berry wouldn't say if Baker was Cleveland's franchise quarterback for the future.
Baker is on a rookie deal and is eligible for an extension after the season. Bucky's back, but Acho, has Baker earned a long-term deal from the Browns?
Baker absolutely has, and it's crazy. I'm not going to say I've done a 180 on Baker Mayfield, but I'll be honest, I've definitely done about a 160, 165. Look, fellas, I was drafted to the Cleveland Browns. I understand just how difficult it is to live there as a young adult who's coming from a college town where you are the man. I understand just how difficult it may be to excel there in a city in foreign territory, lake effect, snow, lake effect, everything. It's tough. Not only is Baker Mayfield doing that, but he has the Browns thriving at 9-3. Fellas, if you were to go to Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, and before the season say this, hey, I promise you will be 9-3, but you got to extend Baker Mayfield. You think he would take that deal? He absolutely would take that deal, and every Browns fan before the season would have been ecstatic to take that deal. Baker Mayfield's earned it. Let's call a spade a spade. We understand that to succeed in Cleveland is obviously more difficult than it is to succeed anywhere else. Otherwise, we would see more success in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield has done it. Kudos to him. He deserves to be paid.
I don't think he deserves to be paid a long-term deal because by their actions and even their words earlier this season, he hasn't even earned a short-term deal. He hasn't even earned the fifth-year extension yet. But now we're talking long-term after one half of tremendous football. Like, I didn't hear all this conversation just a week ago. I didn't hear this a month ago. But now I'm hearing this all the time in 1 week. And it's crazy because they were on a 4-game win streak earlier this year, and now they find themselves again on a 4-game winning streak. So it's starting to pick up steam in terms of the Baker Mayfield conversation. And no one knows how this 4-game winning streak is going to continue or end. They play the Baltimore Ravens on Monday. We'll see. But how did the last one end when people were starting to talk that talk and pick up the steam of Baker Mayfield? Smack! That's what happened to them. They played the Pittsburgh Steelers and lost 7-38. So in this situation, I wonder where the conversation will go, Acho, if all of a sudden he gets smacked by the Baltimore Ravens or something else going down the line, which makes you go back to where you thought Baker Mayfield was for most of this season. Inconsistent. As simple as that. So, no, he hasn't earned a long-term deal because no one's even been on record talking long-term. Matter of fact, they haven't even been on record yet talking short-term deal for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I think it's a wait-and-see situation when it comes to Baker Mayfield. This is a team that has been winning. They've been winning because of their running game and the defense. They play a certain style. While I would love to have continuity at the quarterback spot, I just don't know how we can quantify how much Baker Mayfield deserves. Now, if he comes to the office and he says, hey, I want to be here long term and I'm willing to take maybe a Jimmy G deal or Derek Carr deal, something that is below market value, absolutely sign him up because he's the complementary piece to what we're doing offensively. But if he's looking for one of these deals that put him up there in that Deshaun Watson, Pat Mahomes category, no, Baker Mayfield. You're going to have to go back and prove it not only this year, but you're going to have to prove it next year because we're going to be a little more frugal when it comes to our expenditure at the quarterback position because we need to make sure that you can carry it as a truck and you're not just hitching a ride as a trailer when it comes to this offensive movement.
Hey, I respect that, Bucky. It's one thing, I haven't stolen much from you, but I love the take of, are you a truck or are you a trailer? I am very fond of that take. But I think, Bucky, we have to admit this year, we got to stop underestimating trailers. When you say trailer, that means the team is pulling you. When you say truck, that means you were pulling the team. I'm just explaining for the people who haven't heard you make that take before. Think about this, Bucky Brooks. Cam Newton, he's lost the Patriots 4 to 5 games this year. Carson Wentz, he's lost the Eagles 3 to 5 games this year. We have to start to realize in football, not only do we like when you win games, but please also let's start to give some credence to not losing games as well. We are seeing with our very own eyes more than ever quarterbacks losing games this year. So if Baker Mayfield is not losing games and the Browns are winning games, I'm going to applaud Baker for that. It's not that I'm lowering the bar. What I'm doing is more accurately assessing the quarterback position in this day and age. Think about this, Bucky. You can make a real argument that Baker Mayfield has been the most impressive quarterback this year. What do I mean by that? We've seen Aaron Rodgers go crazy before. We've seen Patrick Mahomes go crazy before. We've seen Chiefs quarterbacks go crazy before. We've seen Packers quarterbacks go crazy before. We've seen a quarterback in Tampa Bay put up 5,000 yards just last year. We've seen Tom Brady ball this year. But what have we not seen? A Browns quarterback ball. Baker Mayfield, can we throw up this full screen, please? Because I was astounded when I saw this. Baker Mayfield, if I'm not mistaken, has a top 5 passer rating in Browns history. He has the number 2 passer rating in Browns history. Like, that's I'm just saying, say what you will. But here's my point. Kill the full screen, because let me talk to Bucky again. I used to think what you thought, Bucky. But remember, where does Baker Mayfield play? We give credence to Phil Dawson, one of the greatest kickers in NFL history, not just because he was a great kicker, because he had to kick in Cleveland outside in those elements. You know, Bucky Brooks, Drew Brees is not the same inside that dome as he is outside in the elements. So is Baker Mayfield's passer rating below 90? Sure. But Baker Mayfield is also doing it in a place that's harder to do it in. Just go back and watch that Browns-Raiders game. I believe that was in Cleveland, and other games this season. All I'm saying is, you got to grade Baker Mayfield on a curve. I've realized that. I think you need to as well.
Hell no, boy. I wish I was graded on the curve. And then I look back as an adult, and I'm so glad I wasn't. I'm glad there was a standardized testing to make sure that people didn't judge me just based on my locale or the school I went to. It's crazy you're having this conversation. Grade them on the curve. Oh, so you could be the smart kid at the bad school, and then you're going to think you're smarter than you really are. Well, Baker Mayfield, welcome to the NFL, big dog. Well, we're going to grade y'all all the same. That's why we have statistics out here. We're not going to let you get, oh, well, I went to the worst program. I was a Cleveland Brown. Look how smart I am. I got an A in Cleveland. Yeah, that's about a C- everywhere else, dummy. So here's the situation if you look at it. Strictly looking at comps. I'm not going to go on this curve. I'm not riding the wave. I'm not looking at him different because his jersey's different or his organization is different. I'm going to talk about someone who was a former number 2 pick, who had a season like this Baker Mayfield's having on his resume, maybe even better. In his second year, his team won the NFC North with a 12-4 record. That season, he had a 6-touchdown game, lit it up, made the Pro Bowl. And his team, the Bears, said no thanks to your 5th-year option and number 2 overall pick, Mitch Trubisky. Now, you can look at Mitch Trubisky after that second year and say, yeah, he's been in decline despite putting up winning quarterback record numbers, but still in decline in terms of his production, in terms of his performance. Are you really going to risk that to give Baker Mayfield a long-term deal and potentially put him in a Mitch Trubisky situation? I don't know. That's a scary comp for me. Hey, I'm going to ride this out. Baker Mayfield, give me consistency, consistent excellence. Then we'll talk long-term.
Let me put this in real life for you. I am, because I'm going to put this in real life for you. In high school, I went to a school called St. Mark's School of Texas, number 1 private school in Texas, number 8 in the nation. True story. I was the dumbest kid in my class. Dumbest kid in my class. I had a 2.8 my freshman year. I finished out with a cumulative 3.2. We had kids composing music at the age of 16. There was the National Spelling Bee winner was in the grade above me in my school. True story. Dumbest kid in my class. I get to college, and all of a sudden, I'm like the smartest person there. Why, Marcellus? Because I was being judged differently. So by the time I actually was being judged as I should have been, being assessed as I should have been assessed, all of a sudden, I thrived, I found success, and I would say my life turned out pretty well. But if you judge me like y'all are trying to judge Baker Mayfield and not counter and calculate all the other external forces, then you will also live your life believing Baker Mayfield is actually worse than he truly is. I need y'all to start to realize, wait a second, this dude Baker Mayfield is doing something that has literally not been done in Cleveland since 1994. Dude has them on pace to win 11 games. Fellas, open up your eyes and see Baker is balling and deserves some bread.
You know,
I just know you wouldn't have gotten to Carolina with those words. You wouldn't have gotten to Carolina. That 2.8, that 2-3-2, yeah, you had to go somewhere else.
Hey, Bucky, let him know, man. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of all he's accomplished. But being real, you ain't the smartest one in this 3-box or the second smartest. You couldn't even get into Carolina. You weren't that smart. I'll tell you, went to Texas, damn it.
IQ test on the show on Monday.
Good luck.
I want us to take an IQ test live.
Let's go. Coming up in our big story, Cam Newton did not look good at all in last night's loss. We'll tell you if his days as a franchise QB are over. Next, speak for yourself. You can't give no speech. Let's get back to Cam Newton for our big story. He had a game to forget last night in a blowout loss to the Rams. The Patriots were held to only 3 points, and Cam threw a pick-6. Then he was benched in the fourth quarter. Despite the struggles, Bill Belichick said, quote, Cam's our quarterback. Bucky is back, and we'll start with you, Buck. Are Cam's days as a franchise quarterback over?
Man, this is tough for me, right? Because I'm a Cam fan, and I love everything that Cam represents. But it's getting harder and harder to say, Cam is going to be a franchise quarterback. For Cam's days, he may be relegated to being a bridge quarterback at this time. I think he will be re-signed by the New England Patriots. He'll be the starter, but I just don't know if I can go all out and go all in. Like, I don't know if I can Superman pose and do all those things. I'm really, really sad about it. It's just been very disappointing to see my guy, the superhero, he's just a shell of himself. And, I know as we get older and stuff like that, it changes. But right now, man, Cam is looking like Muhammad Ali with a mustache. And I just don't know. How that qualifies. So I'm hoping he can turn it around these last few games, but it's hard for me to say that Cam is still a franchise quarterback.
Man, can I get a 2-shot with Bucky, please?
Oh, okay, yeah. Get me out
just
the way.
Bucky, just me and Bucky.
You a director
just
now?
Me and Bucky.
Damn.
Bucky, can we please just have a moment of silence for Cam's career?
Don't put me on camera for this.
We can. Okay, I feel you, Bucky. I feel you. I feel about Cam's career like I felt about that Tyson-Roy Jones fight. It's like I'm going to always watch Tyson fight. I always will because I love Iron Mike. But Iron Mike ain't iron no more. He look a little pliable. Iron Mike look like, I don't know, plastic Mike. Like Cam Newton, the Cam that I loved, the Cam I've told y'all before. Cam Newton, Cam Chancellor were my favorite players in the league for like 5 years running. Cam Chancellor retired, so all I had to hold on to was Cam Newton. His franchise days are over, fellas. If you're a general manager, are you looking at Cam Newton and saying, yeah, I want him? If you're running a team, are you looking at Cam Newton and saying, yeah, I got to have me one of those? Fact of the matter is you're not. I'm going to end my take like this, Marcellus. I'm going to say this. The Patriots were the only team that considered Cam Newton the starter this year. The Patriots have benched Cam Newton in the middle of games twice. So I just can't do any deductive reasoning to figure out how Cam Newton will be a franchise quarterback going forward. Hurts my heart.
I don't know what Boys to Men song both of you guys are listening to. How do I? Like, y'all all somber. Y'all know America's watching.
It's the end of the road.
It's
the end of the road, Marcellus. Hold we go. It's that one, bro.
Hey, it ain't that empty bathroom you in right now, Acho. Those acoustics is coming from that bad voice. Good Lord, don't ever do that again. Okay, here we go, big dog. Cam Newton is not done as a franchise quarterback. Let me give you the reasons why. Cam Newton, we just heard Acho argue that Baker Mayfield deserves a long-term deal in Cleveland. Now, he based a lot of that over the cover of them being 9-3 and not the performance of Baker Mayfield necessarily himself. Okay, that makes sense. If you win, hey, keep the complimentary piece. I get all of that. But Baker Mayfield, is your completion percentage this year, are you more accurate with the football than Cam Newton is this year? No. Wait a minute. You mean you're not as accurate as Cam Newton, the guy who's got benched twice? No, I'm not, Coach. Actually, I'm not. All right, let me pull this back and let me start to use some of my relationship advice in this situation. I know what's at play. Two things are the most important building blocks for any relationship: communication and trust. Talk about the communication real quick. He just got there, damn it. A few months ago, Cam Newton was a free agent doing workout videos on IG. Now he's a New England Patriot trying to learn the Patriot way.
that fast.
Why you make Cam an Instagram model?
Hey.
Why you just make Cam Newton an Instagram model, bro? I hate you.
He did.
I hate you.
He did when he won all season with the shirt off. But on the field, it's a little different because they don't have the communication yet. Cam is not deep in the volumes of this playbook just yet. But let's talk about why he's not. Because of trust. I keep bringing up the 3 games where they said, let Cam cook. And they lost 2 of those 3. And the third one was a barely win over the Jets. Like that close win over the Jets. So they're like, we ain't gonna let this dude cook. And let me tell you why they won't let him cook. Now we got to go into Belichick's devious mind, where he wants to hide Cam in plain sight. I'm telling you this. Last night, how many pass attempts did Cam have in the game that they weren't really in much of this game, if not all of it? Like we saw from the hello that the Rams were going to overpower that team. How many pass attempts? 16. Wait a minute. In the NFL, isn't the equation if you're down, you throw the ball more, not less? But they're not. You know why? Because Belichick is sitting there saying, you know what? I want Cam Newton to be high value to us on the inside, but maybe on the outside, you guys keep guessing or questioning who Cam Newton is. This is a situation where they know they're not winning a Super Bowl. Now it seems like they're not making the playoffs. They're going back to the expectations they had in the offseason and reminding themselves, next year we get $60 million plus in salary cap money. We'll have Cam Newton on a low deal because of these performances, right? And continuity with Cam. That's the master plan at play. If anyone has anything to deter me from thinking that way, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Well, yeah, no, I think you're chasing the wrong one. I just think you're on the wrong thing. I think Cam is on the road like RG3 right now, man. And it pains me. You know, RG3 was my guy for a minute. You know, but I think Cam is on that way because when we look at him, and I can excuse he doesn't have the same amount of talent. He doesn't have the offensive line, the playmakers and all those things. But at some point, you have to look at it with your eyes. And there's something wrong. When I look at Cam pass, he just doesn't look like the same guy. And he's always had an awkward motion. And he also would have some worm burners and those things. But, man, it's just tough. It's tough when every time I'm watching the game and he drops back to pass, I'm wincing and I'm looking at the game through my fingers, just hoping that he doesn't turn it over. And I just don't know if there are many general managers and head coaches that want to sign up for that life because that life is hard. And even though he has 11 rushing touchdowns, he's had 10 or more rushing touchdowns 3 times in his career. And look, he's going to be arguably one of those guys that we talk about as a gold jacket guy due to his rushing prowess. I just don't see him in that same light. I don't know how he's going to age at this position as a franchise quarterback.
Man, stop. No tight ends, no wide receivers, bad O-line, at least in spot duty. Fewer turnovers than Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, and your boy Acho, Carson Wentz. But yeah, it's over for Cam Newton. How dare y'all? Turn that boys to men off. Coming up, Taysom Hill is off to a great start as the Saints quarterback, but we'll tell you if he can be the heir apparent to Drew Brees. Drew down. Next, speak for yourself. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. New Orleans is the hottest team in the NFL, and Taysom Hill is a big reason why. Hill has 6 total touchdowns in his 3 starts at quarterback and has kept the Saints' 9-game winning streak going. Athletic reports Hill's performance has bolstered the team's confidence that he, quote, is the eventual heir apparent to Drew Brees. Big word. So, Acho, should the Saints view Taysom as their heir apparent?
I do not think that they should. Taysom Hill has done a phenomenal job. 3-0 as a starter. Taysom Hill, he's actually incredibly unique if you look at exactly what he's accomplishing. He's one of 3 quarterbacks to have a 70% completion percentage in his first 3 starts with the minimum number of attempts, along with Jimmy Garoppolo and Devlin Duck Hodges. He's one of only 3 quarterbacks, along with Tim Tebow and Robert Griffin, to have over 500 passing yards and 150 rushing yards in their first 3 starts. So I applaud and I laud exactly what Taysom Hill is accomplishing. But just because you are unique or in some sort of limited edition category does not mean you are necessary. Big dog Marcellus Wiley, you know my brother. He's a friend of the show at this point in time.
Yeah.
About a year ago, he was like, hey, bro, I got to get me this limited edition car. It's going for $85,000. Now, it's not a luxury car, so I was a little confused. I was like, Sam, what's so special about this car? He was like, it's limited edition. There are only like 50 of them in the United States. I'm like, okay, Sam, but don't spend so much money on a car just because it's limited edition if it ain't that nice. Well, lo and behold, he bought the car and he ended up trading it in. Just because Taysom Hill is unique or limited edition does not mean that he is the future for the New Orleans Saints. He's done some great things. 3-0. Kudos to him. Phenomenal job in a limited amount of time. But I would not commit to him as the franchise or as the future going forward.
I would certainly commit to him, at least give him the opportunity. Taysom Hill has earned that. Not given to him being on the bench, but actually been out there being 3-0, being great on money down, as you pointed out. He has earned that. And remember what we're asking here. We're asking, should he be the heir apparent to Drew Brees? Absolutely, because he's earned that opportunity. Heir apparent just means you're next in line. Acho, we don't know what he's going to do with the opportunity. We don't know if he's fully ready for the long-term haul of what that looks like as being a potential franchise quarterback. But does he deserve the opportunity to be next? Absolutely. Sean Payton's been raving about this guy when no one else knew who he was or cared who he was. So Sean Payton already has him in terms of trust, in terms of knowing his ability and believing in him to the point where we're now starting to see that materialize. But all princes don't arrive king ready. Think about that. I got too many kids. I watched Lion King about 3,000 times. And Simba was not king ready from day one. But you know what happened? Simba got his game right, got his mind right, and has something to fight for. Taysom Hill and this old butt finally get an opportunity to start. You imagine when you're in your 30s, this is your first real chance to show what you can do? Oh, my God, having a veteran mentality, soaking it all in from Drew Brees, and now it's your turn? I know that he's earned it, and now he's going to be given it.
Whenever you make a big decision, my thing is you have to run a cost-benefit analysis. What is Taysom Hill and the style of play Taysom Hill brings costing you? Remember, you committed, I want to say, $70 million to Alvin Kamara, your star 26-year-old running back. Well, with Drew Brees as the starter, Kamara averages 126 scrimmage yards. With Taysom Hill as the starter, Kamara averages 64 scrimmage yards. With Drew Brees as a starter, Alvin Kamara, 7.4 receptions a game. With Taysom Hill as a starter, Alvin Kamara, 1 reception a game. A running back who's second best in the NFL catching the ball out the backfield is now rendered useless because of Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill clearly adds several benefits to the Saints offense. The question is, what is the loss incurred by having Taysom Hill as your starter in the offense as well? That's what the Saints have to weigh.
In 3 games, he got the same amount of wins as Carson Wentz. Yeah, he's going to be the heir apparent. Coming up, Uncle Jimmy has some advice for Cam Newton after the Patriots' bad loss last night. That's next. Oh, speak for yourself. Let's hear it. Before we go, Uncle Jimmy is here. Cam Newton had a rough game last night. Now, here you have some advice for him, Uncle. Go ahead.
Hey, Acho, would you do me a favor, bro? As soon as you get back to the studio, hey, man, would you punch Wiley straight in the mouth for me? Just for him speaking blasphemy, mixing the name Baker Mayfield in the same breath as Cam Newton. Hey, man, let me tell you something. You know as well as I do, man. Cam Newton wish he had half the commercials Baker Mayfield had. I'm going to tell you something else Cam Newton wish he had. Cam Newton wish he had an offensive line that protect him like Baker Mayfield's offensive line protect him.
Okay.
Hey, Acho, I'm going to tell you what. It's about that time. It's time for Cam Newton to have an uncomfortable conversation with that group of Caucasians that he calls his offensive linemen, and he needs to ask them all straight out. Hey, if Black Lives Matter, why the hell y'all let Aaron Donald try to kill me? Hey, man, that offensive line, that defensive line last night beat up on Cam Newton and made him look worse than Nate Robinson looked when Jake from State Farm whooped his ass the other night. That don't make no sense.
That was amazing. 5 10 lives next. Oh, you killed them all.